Welcome to the Survivor Recap, sponsored by JSON19.
That was like perfect. It was so like upbeat and like enthusiastic and
Well, you
ready
weren't
for
doing the
action.
show. I'm like, I can't stand this awkward moment.
I was just waving.
You were just waving. You're just going.
I was just. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Survivor Recap.
After going to France, you're just all French now.
Yes.
Got 2 weeks
We Survivor Recap. Hey. Wait.
Great. We
Survivor
missed a week. Say that.
We did miss a week, so this is a double episode, a quick double episode. But and it's sad that we missed a week too because they were really freaking good episodes.
They
Yeah.
were, including an amazing play inside the first episode that we didn't get to talk about yet. An amazing play.
An amazing. Which one are you referring to?
Probably at the end.
God, the one by that girl that we'll recap at the end of this recap.
So the first one basically starts out that Dan, just like we said in the last one, he starts out feeling a little upset because 2 people voted for him.
You're already starting on the wrong. Sure.
No,
Sorry.
not.
No, yeah, you're on the 513, aren't you?
No.
That's Oh wait, sorry. Everyone wants Mike Gum because he is selfish, self-centered, arrogant, and condescending. I thought that's what you were talking about with Dan. Sorry.
No, because Dan had 2 votes on the one
Right.
when
Right.
Mike
Okay.
had, played,
Yep. Sorry.
claimed about the idol and blah, blah, blah. But then it was funny because he was like, I got 2 votes. And Tyler's like, yeah, Dan got 2 votes probably because he's on the bottom. And then Dan's like, yeah, but Mike's public enemy on number 1, so no worries. And I was just like,
Yeah. Tyler and Will said he really wanted to split the vote, but he just had to go on with the plan. And so Dan's like, I understand. I agree fully with you. And so I understand why you had to do it. And so in the end, Dan's just like, I still don't like Mike. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I expected Dan to be a little bit more upset and hurt by that. But nope, he's just kind of like, yeah, Mike's still public enemy number 1, so we'll just deal with that for now. I was like, oh,
Mike's good as
I
a
like
world
how
fan.
that Dan accepted that. Meanwhile, everyone else had voted for Mike as the plan was. And Tyler was like, I had to write someone else's name down, man. I had to write someone else's name down. It had to be you, man. I couldn't write down Mike because he was going to play that idol. And I couldn't write down
I'd be
myself.
going home.
But, yeah, and it's like, meanwhile, everyone else managed to write down Mike.
Yeah, but in Tyler's defense, though, wouldn't you be scared?
Oh, well, yeah. But he's just basically like, Dan's just
Oh,
an idiot.
Tyler did the right
Like,
thing. He played it perfectly.
Yeah.
He voted for somebody and then was still in their good books the night after. It's like Dan is at the bottom of this alliance, and it's great because he's gullible and yet loyal.
Yeah.
It's
that's
just
literally what
perfect.
Tyler said to the camera right afterwards. Like, yeah, I'll vote Dan again, too.
And
He's just
like-
yep.
In the
That's
whole episode, I don't think anybody even cared that Will voted for Dan. It was just
No.
like, oh yeah, it's Will. He just doing his thing, whatever. Like, Will voted for Dan. It's like, okay.
Now,
Yeah.
as exciting as all this discussion is, did you hear the big news about what today is?
It's Rodney's birthday.
It's Rodney's birthday, and he's gonna get a reward. Happy birthday to Rodney!
Yep, he
right?
should get everything handed to him on a silver
He should get
platter.
immunity. If it was the next day, he would have got free immunity.
yeah, I mean,
happy birthday.
that's the way it
if
works.
If it was the day after that, he would have, got a free immunity idol, so he doesn't go home. It's your birthday, man.
Good
Happy
thing.
birthday.
Good thing nobody else has birthdays during Survivor, coincidentally, because it's all Rodney. Give it to Rodney. Give everything to him.
Yep. So we got to go to the reward challenge for Rodney's birthday.
That was hilarious. I don't know, just thinking about the episode after this one too. So the reward challenge, it's 2 teams of 3. I'm really tired of reward challenges being team-based and once it becomes a single game, but maybe that's just me.
Well, no, because I think a big part of it is who you choose to take on reward. I love that aspect of the show because it really starts to mingle with the alliances.
Yeah.
And it's getting missing. This time they did something different, though. It was a schoolyard pick, but then he told you who was captains and who they picked.
Yeah, which was nice.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. I did, yeah. Man, I forgot so much about this episode. We can't miss recaps. The challenge was to unspool a pole looking for a key, build a ladder, use the key to release balls of bags, or bags of balls. Not balls.
Balls of
Balls up there.
Go through a net swing, launch all the balls into targets using a foot catapult. The winners would be ambassadors of goodwill, bringing school supplies, clothing, toys for kids, and a cookout for the kids. They called it a barbecue. It wasn't a barbecue. It was a cookout.
Well, very, very technical of you.
Now the real question is the quality of their ham. No, it's actually.
So
hamburgers from the sea.
Sandwiches from the ocean.
And so, as the challenge progresses, what happens?
So first, captains were Dan and Carolyn, and he straight up said Dan picked Tyler and Rodney, and Carolyn picked Mike and Sierra. Now, we don't know if it was like a back and forth, or if they gave one person. Either way, Will doesn't get picked, but they actually told you who picked who, which I thought was nice, though it didn't matter, really.
It was kind of interesting for me to see that Mike was in the game, though. The person that you hate.
But I think people want him on their team because they know he's good at challenges.
Yeah, sure. I don't disagree. I'm just saying it was interesting to see Will sitting out because at first you would think that it would be Mike just based on how much people dislike him.
So the beginning of this challenge, I'm a little confused. It was that they were unraveling these like lashes or laces or whatever they were from the top. Was it really unraveling, or was it just like one on top of the other? Like, didn't one person just go first in a circle and the second person just went around afterwards in a circle?
It looked like the first person did that for sure, but it looked like the second person only had to go halfway up and then they switch and then half and then half and half. You know what I'm saying? Like, the first guy was the red ribbon, he went all the way out. He was done. Then they say there was a blue ribbon, halfway up the pole, the yellow ribbon had to go and unwind some too, and then. But yeah, it was pretty much just running around in a circle.
Yeah, I thought they should like braid them at least, so you have to or whatever. It was kind of.
That might have been a little bit too hard. I don't know, but yeah, it did seem.
They probably look at the people that they have left, and they're like, "Is this too hard for these guys? Might need to make this one a little bit easier."
We'll give them some scissors.
So Red gets the first key and finishes the ladder first, and Blue almost grabs the bags before all parts of the ladder are in place. Red is in the lead at the net swing, which is it's hard for Dan to get in the swing. Rodney forgets the balls. Maybe he had too much on his mind as his birthday.
Rodney, drop the ball.
So he has to go all the way back through the net swing and get the balls and then come back through.
Dude, he was flying. He wants his birthday reward too. Like you could tell he was digging deep for it.
I just loved his face when he realized he didn't have the balls, and he's looking at other people. He's like, "Where are the balls?" It's like, "Oh wait, you were the last one with them, and you dropped them outside the net swing, but you're yelling at other people, wondering where the balls are at."
Mike scores first using the catapult, but then whenever they actually get the balls, Dan starts going, and he's just like a master at this damn thing. Every fucking ball he launches lands. I don't know if that was luck. Well, do you guys think that was luck, or if he's just really good at launching balls?
I mean,
Dan's actually been good at challenges the entire game. Whether or not you agree is your prerogative, but
yeah,
I think he's been good at challenges the entire time.
Yeah.
Well,
I love maybe his weight actually helped him launch the balls easier.
Well, and I just love that one where I think it was 3-4 at the time. Like they were up 4-3, and he launches the one, and he just goes, "That's it, that's game," and you watch it roll. I mean, it so barely misses that net. Like everybody thought it was over at that point, and it was.
Yeah. And that's when they tied it up.
Really stubborn. Mike was really stubborn, wasn't he, at this point?
Yeah. After he had missed a lot, was it Carolyn that started telling him to
Sierra, the character of Sierra that you might not remember. she wants to launch some balls as well. Mike won't let her.
I don't think he should have let her. At that point, granted, he's been missing a lot, but he's also sunk 3. He's got the feel for it. They're down by 2 or 1 or whatever it is at this point. Mm-hmm. He's got the feel. He's the only one that can actually pull out a win at the end. Nobody can just jump in. Dan could have maybe jumped into their side in one because he seems to be a natural, but other people would have just been like, oh, the learning curve to it they'd have to get. I think it was a smart idea for Mike to stay.
Yeah. I mean, the time it takes to switch, too. But that said, if Dan had launched another ball right at that moment and won, they would have blamed Mike for not switching.
For sure. But what would that have hurt Mike?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, he's already the bottom no matter what. So, meanwhile, Mike wins, like we just said. And basically, Rodney lost the challenge for his team by feeding the balls, in my opinion. I mean, the way that Dan come out there and kicked ass like he did, if he had that extra 30 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever it was that it took Dan to go back through the damn net thing twice to get the balls, or not Rodney to go back through, I think that they would have won.
Agreed. I agree.
So Rodney whines about his birthday and calls it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It's great. He says, now, I'm not going to plead, but it's my birthday. It's like, You are literally pleading that you're doing exactly what you said you weren't going to do.
And you promised, and it's my birthday, but I'm not going to plead, but you promised, and it's my birthday.
But please, thank you.
I like how Mike's just like, dude, I fucking need the food too. Fuck
Yep.
you.
It's a reward challenge, you know?
Yeah.
You fight, you do it, and guess what? You drop the ball, you don't get food.
I love how he says it could go from being the best birthday ever to the worst. Because it's...
Wait, so it's already the best?
It could be if he went on this challenge, or the reward. It would be the best birthday ever, but now it's the worst. The worst one ever in existence. I mean, you know, you think we killed his parents because it's just the worst birthday that could have possibly happened.
I just want to know what happens back at Rodney. So I'm sure he's the type of guy, he gets like a huge birthday party every year. And it's like, you know, everybody, you know, they all go out on a big, you know, big party out to the bar every time. Or they bring a cake out for him that he wasn't expecting. You know, he's always happy and pleased and doing impressions around the table. By the way, Rodney's really, really good at impressions. He actually he's been posting vines of doing impressions of Mike, Max.
Oh, has he really?
Are you serious?
He did one of he did one of Dan, and it was spot on. And I'll have to show you after the recap. But he's amazing.
Sierra does say that if it was an individual challenge, she said that she would pick Rodney, but she wasn't going to get her own spot, which that to me makes sense.
Right.
And then they go back to camp, and Rodney says to the camera in his interview that the friends showed how cutthroat they could be, and they've turned him into the psychotic person that he really is.
So let's break down that statement for a second. They've turned me into the psychotic person I am. So the person you already are, people turned you into.
No, when he came to Survivor, he was a sane man.
Oh, of course.
And he had a psychotic person hiding deep.
He's the realest guy who's ever played Survivor.
That is right. I forgot. What was I thinking? But he has to wash dishes on his birthday. That would be the worst birthday if I ever wash anything on my birthday.
His complaining was he's such a child. He's like, here I am washing dishes on my birthday. It's like, man, have you ever actually had a birthday party? Like, I guess when you're back at home, you don't have to wash the dishes when you have everybody over from do birthday cake. Dude, if it's your birthday, you have a bunch of people, or then they all leave and you got trash over. Guess what? It's still your birthday. You're probably cleaning up your party.
I bet you he's one of those people who takes his birthday off of work every year because he feels entitled to having his birthday off. I bet you anything.
It's a holiday, so I don't have to actually take the day off.
Probably takes the whole freaking week off.
I used to have a roommate. I hope she doesn't listen to this. She was like, next month's my birthday month. And I'm like, what? No, you stop.
Hey, MC, next year's my birthday year.
Yeah.
I'll get you one cake on your birthday and no more.
I just don't think he cares about their birthday that much. Like, I certainly don't.
I don't. Like, I mean, I'll be like, hey, it's my birthday, cool. But, you know, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it.
I'm usually like, hey, it was my birthday the other day. I forgot. Like,
yeah. I like that he says that Sierra and Carolyn are not going to the end now. Only one person's going to the end, and it's going to be me. Watch. Like, what does that even mean? It's going to be like, it's going to just be him at the end. Like, there's no vote.
Final one.
The final one. That's going to be the most riveting vote reading ever.
Yeah, dude, there's only one guy sitting, and then everybody else on the jury, and in a surprise vote, Jeff Probst wins. Congratulations, Jeff Probst. You get $1 million to try to relaunch your talk show. Good luck.
Oh, man. I wish I'd watched that, so maybe he had at least one more person watching. I don't know. I don't think we couldn't have saved him, could we?
No, he doesn't need saved, though. Look what he does now.
No, he did that during Survivor. He was a Survivor host for a long, long time, and then he started having a morning talk show on CBS. Oh, I thought he'd been a Survivor host for like 10 years or something.
Oh man, I thought that's how he got popular and got asked to be.
No one watched his talk show though. They just watched him on Survivor. And the thing is, I just am not up at that time of morning. I wish I'd have DVR'd it or something though, because Jeff seems like he'd be good at it. Anyways, this is not.
What happens actually at Reward? Let's talk about what actually happens at Reward because there's some movement inside the game.
Carolyn talks about just how it's going to be worth getting her B when she gets back, but, well, I don't know what happened, actually. Carolyn to the camera.
They gave out some bikes.
Mike has power, winning challenge. Maybe time to realign. That's the only thing.
Yeah, Carolyn sees Mike as a really nice guy, and she's thinking, maybe I can work with him, pull off some big plays. And so this is where I started to get the idea of Sierra, Mike, Carolyn, plus Dan or Tyler. They pull in one of those two, and they're good to go. Preferably Dan, because he's an idiot and has 2 votes. But that would be what I think would be the optimal alliance at this point, is what I wrote down. The optimal alliance.
No, I would optimal alliance be pulling in Will. Because he's not a threat to you.
Right.
I was going to vote for Will.
But the problem
might
is
get 1 vote.
Will not sway from Rodney. I guarantee you that.
That's possibly true.
So I think that Sierra, Mike, and Carolyn could make something work, and then they just have to work on Dan or Tyler. Dan would probably not want to do it because he hates Mike. Tyler would probably be the more easy one to go with, but Tyler's also a horrible person to bring to the end because he's like good at the game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all there really was at reward. There was that strategy. Carolyn was like seeing possibility of something, you know.
However, at camp, there was a lot of things that were going on. And I don't know what you guys think, but I think Rodney's idea was not a bad idea.
Explain
the
Rodney.
way he wanted to do it was a bad idea. The way it could have been done, I think probably what me and you both thought, Jeff, could work. If everyone at camp started talking about how they were tired of his shit,
right,
they could convince it. But Rodney being like, I'm done. You might as well vote me out because I'm done, boys. That ain't going to work.
That's Rodney's...
It's Rodney's homosexual side.
Well, I don't know why he got that voice. I'm just saying, like what his plan was dumb. His plan could work if everyone was on board and they all acted like they were done with him. But Tyler didn't like the idea at all because it would make Mike play his eye. He thinks that Mike plays idol and then Tyler would end up being out. Which I still think Mike would play his idol even if everyone had gone on board and been like, we're definitely going to vote out Rodney because we're tired of his shit. I still think Mike would have played his idol.
I think Mike would have because he's smart. However, I think if the tables were turned and it was Rodney in that position, I think Rodney would have been like, man, they're not voting for me. I'm going to save this thing for the end.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So when everybody gets back from reward, that's when things really start to escalate.
I really like this part. They're all huddled up and it's raining.
Dude, I called it on my notes.
Upset.
I wrote it down on my notes as spooky camp. It looks very spooky. Spooky camp life.
They have the Satan music again.
Yeah. So Rodney's complaining. I'm done with this game. I may be the realest person to ever play this game, but this is too real for me. I'm out. Blah blah blah. He didn't say that. I think it'd be funny if he said that. But Mike's just like sitting there. He's like, no.
I like how he just straight up even tells him. He's like, I don't even care. I'm not voting for you. Like,
this is stupid.
I like how Rodney goes on and on too about this stuff. Like, it's bullshit. They all had the time of their lives. It was my birthday. Carolyn, you're supposed to be a mother. Like, what the hell does that even mean?
You're supposed to take care of your young on their birthday. Throw them a little party. Give them a little train birthday cake.
He is one of those people that I just hate in real life. Like, that's really what it is. His attitude. He's so entitled.
Right.
I think he might. From what I've seen of him out of game, he seems like a nice person. I still wouldn't want to be with him on his birthday though, because he'd probably be insufferable.
Yeah, I think so. I like how Mike basically says, "Why should we give up our stuff when you're the one that lost the challenge?" Mm-hmm. And Rodney's response was, "Doesn't matter. It's my birthday."
Yeah. Yep. I want Mike to call up Rodney on his birthday, which has nothing to do with the show at all. Just be like, "Yo, why didn't you send me a present, man? It's my birthday." Like,
yeah, for real. Why did you fly out? Yeah. We should be hanging out, man. Well, Mike says to the camera in his interview that, I see their plan. I'm not going to feel safe and not play my idol. This is stupid. Don't even try this shit on me. And then Carolyn and Tyler go off on their own and talk about how Mike will either vote for Dan or Tyler, and Tyler thinks Carolyn should start bringing her idol to tribal for him.
Yeah, I guess they had talked about before that they would use it between the two of them if need be. But I think at this point, that was so long ago, Carolyn has absolutely no plans of giving up that idol. I mean, I wouldn't.
Tyler and Carolyn, one of them should win this game at this point. Is what I was like. They should win. They're playing this game well. They have an idol. Not everybody knows about their stupid idol.
Right.
Like, Carolyn's been my pick to win for a little while now, I think. I think we just talked about it a couple episodes ago.
The big problem with Carolyn winning it right now is she needs to make a big play. She needs to do something where she can go to the jury and be like, this is the point where I won Survivor.
Well, and
Right.
this is,
and I think that maybe that'll happen even in this episode of our recap.
and the big part of problem with Carolyn winning though is the fact that she's on that voting list for the next season of Survivor.
Right. Well, luckily they did say that Mike and Carolyn are both on the list, even though they're still inside the game. But
Right.
they were said that if either one of them win, that their votes don't count, and that they'll take the 11th person.
Oh, really? Because I was looking
Yes.
at that thing as I read the stuff on it like briefly, and it just basically said it was a second chance. It didn't say you couldn't have won before. It just said it was a second chance Survivor. So I was like, well, I guess a winner could still theoretically be picked, and maybe that's what they'll do. If they came out and said that, there's two reasons. It's either one, they realize they messed up and they're trying to backtrack, or two, they put one of those people on there because they did win the game. It still could go either way, like just for
Right, they're trying to throw you off type
Right.
of thing. Yeah. Is everyone in this season on there?
No, there's 3 of them
No.
though. 3 out of the
Yeah.
20 are on.
No,
from
there's
this season.
Shireen and Max are there too, so it's 4.
Max too. 4. See, that's a
Wait,
lot of people.
did Max get on it? I think he did.
That's a lot
Who's
of
gonna
people
vote for
from this
Shireen?
season. Out of 20,
They did.
though.
Of course, they did more from the season because guess what? People have these people fresh in their brains. Not everybody does Survivor recap.
Yeah.
Oh wait, isn't Joe on there?
Joe is on. Yeah, I think Joe's on there.
So is that 5?
Yeah.
Damn. It's gonna be like just season 30 twice. Like
Yeah. I wouldn't even be mad. I would be very happy.
that would be an interesting thing to do on Survivor, just to bring back the full cast that was there when you started on one season and just do it again because now they know each other.
That
Same
would be
tribes
interesting.
And everything.
I don't think it would be entertaining. I think they'd get rid of all the threats very quick. I think it would be.
Yeah, you're probably
But
right.
you'd think that, and then Boston Rob gets to the end like every freaking like game he's
Yeah.
on. Like so.
I would actually like to see him do that now with like Survivor season 10 coming back for season 30. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd been a
Everybody
while.
forgets. Everybody forgets.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
sure
it's
they
been a
don't
long
actually.
time, but it's still the same exact cast.
That would be
And people have had
entertaining.
time to change even. Like you
And
can
the
come back
game
and be
is-
like, yeah. Hell, I'd love to see the first season that had what's his name? That he's infamous. He's been on like
Russell
4 times at this point.
Hance?
His cousin was on.
Oh,
Russell
Russell
Hance.
Hance?
Yes, yeah. I'd love to see that season redone.
I don't
and see how
think
they
he
treat
can.
Hance.
I don't think he can ever come back.
Think
No, I
so,
don't want
From
yeah.
all the from all the drama, like didn't he almost get the $5 million fine or whatever for giving away information about one of the seasons?
Really?
Yeah, like the last one he was on, I heard was very controversial on information he gave to fans and this and that. So
Oh,
I'd
is
love
their
this.
contract that that's the damages, $5 million?
Yeah, I think it was like $5 million. It was some ridiculous amount of money that was supposed to be so that you don't talk about this stuff.
Right. All right. So we go into the immunity here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Please.
Oh, the last thing I say before we go to immunity, because I want to get on with immunity, is man, I want to get somebody really rich on Survivor, and then they could just like divulge every secret. I wonder if it's based on the number of secrets or how big the secret is. The fine is because if they just released everything, it's like here's $5 billion, and now we know everything about Survivor ever. That'd be cool. But anyway, let's go on with immunity.
So the immunity is balance on a perch while holding onto a rope and leaning backwards. As time goes on, you will lean. You'll lean more and more. You'll move your hands further down the rope. Last person standing wins.
Yep. They've definitely done this challenge a bunch of times in the past.
More upper body strength. It's just an upper body strength challenge. It's what they seem to like to do.
Though they started this one on knot 3, which I was very like, oh, usually they start you like easy and you ease down every couple minutes. They were like, get to the 3rd knot and hold on. They're already like, oh, shit.
Right.
Like,
Rodney says he's struggling from the beginning because his birthday.
it's too much dishwashing. His arms are spent. Like,
Yeah, he calls it out, man. He says, after my birthday, I'm just struggling, Jeff, struggling. This guy, he'll never have another birthday, I don't think.
Nah.
Will's the first out, then Dan's out next. That's pretty much you could just call it. Whenever it's like this type of challenge, you can almost call Will and Dan are going to be out.
Will,
I didn't expect to see
Dan literally just he's there. He's just like, nope, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
Will lasted longer than I thought he was going to. That's a good 2 minutes. Like, well, it was going to be more or less, I mean.
Next was Sierra. I was kind of surprised she went out as quick as she did, honestly.
She's taller though, so this
Yeah,
type of
probably does hurt.
challenge, it helps you if you're short.
Yeah. In fact, my wife had said that. She called that Carolyn was going to win it all before it even started because of her height.
Yeah.
So then Rodney was out, and it's Carolyn, Mike, Tyler left. Tyler was struggling. They moved down a notch.
How does Rodney not have he's got huge freaking muscles. Like, he's just like, they're like glory muscles. Like,
Wait, why
or
Rodney
glamour
not do it?
muscles.
Because he didn't go on reward for his birthday.
True, that's true.
Right.
I didn't
There's-
count that in the equation.
This is not just a physical game. This is a mental game, too, and he has been devastated because of his birthday. Yeah, you just do it. You can't understand. You've never had a legit birthday like him.
A real birthday, as he would like to say.
So yeah, they finally move down a knot. Then Mike falls out. Then Tyler drops out, and Carolyn wins. Dan says to the camera, "Good Mike has to play his idol." The bad is lots of talk about Dan's advantage. So Dan's a little bit worried because everyone's talking about his advantage. So they go back to camp, and Dan thinks it's him, Tyler or Mike. He thinks Mike will play his idol, and names keeps getting written down. So Dan's definitely worried.
And so the big thing is it feels like it's going to be a Tyler versus Dan ordeal right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And so Carolyn is kind of a big vote inside this, where she has to decide where she wants to go. And we kind of see her starting to gun for Tyler, and it's like, ooh, man. But at the same time, we also have the advantage in play, which is where things get wacky. And so they come up with a simple plan. 4 people vote for Mike, 3 people vote for Dan.
Well, Carolyn said to Dan, Rodney, and Sierra that the guys should vote Mike and the women should vote Tyler. Right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
she was playing both sides.
She was
Yeah.
playing both sides.
Right.
And at this point, this is where I'm thinking, man, Carolyn, you need to vote Tyler. It's going to be your winning survivor move if you do it. And
Yeah.
But the big question is, will Mike play the idol? Will Dan's advantage cause any trouble? Will Carolyn make the move that could potentially, in my opinion, win her $1 million?
You ever watch Rocky and Bullwinkle back in the day?
I know.
Will Mike make the move? Will Carolyn vote Tyler? Find out
Find
after
out
this
next
commercial.
time.
Yeah.
Mike tells Carolyn he expects all the votes to go for him, and he lets her know that he is voting for Tyler. And Tyler talks to Carolyn about the 3 votes going to Dan. So then we go to the tribal, and the jury is, as we remember, Haley, Joe, Jen, and Sharon.
Party house.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm sure they're having a blast over at Ponderosa. Really, Rodney should have been there for his birthday. That's what he really should have done.
Tell him that they're voting him out so he can go enjoy Ponderosa. for his
Imagine
birthday.
a reward challenge where you get to go and visit Ponderosa for the day and
Oh my-
talk to the voted out people.
That would
That would
actually
be insane.
That would be
That would be
pretty
fun.
That would be pretty
Yeah, but
cool.
like strategy-wise too. Now you're talking to jury members and shit about what's
That-
going on in the game, and I don't know. You change the game like that. That is kind of crazy.
Wow.
Ponderosa visit.
Yeah, I want that now. And it would honestly, it would drive people to their YouTube channel to watch the Ponderosa videos. I was looking at them, and they get like 40,000 views or something. It's like, man,
Hey.
no one's watching them.
I want to quickly say something. Hey, Jeff Probst, I came up with that idea. If you want to use it, you got to let me or one of my boys, Isano or Guude, onto the show.
Yeah, both of us. We're both there. We got this.
We're a package deal.
Yeah, 3 of us. Add us, just ask that ballot. I'm sure no one will vote for us. So Mike's the first to talk, and he's just basically like, "Yep, one of these 6 are going home tonight, guaranteed." I got my idol.
No. He's like, I think I brought my idol with me because that's what he did.
Yeah. And then Jeff says to Dan, surprised about the 2 votes last cancel. Dan's like, "Yeah, they told me right away who it was though, so I'm not concerned, or I'm greatly concerned." Yeah, but yeah.
As things get hyped up, Sierra says there's going to be a big move tonight. And that's why I'm like, wow, Sierra's talking about a big move? This might actually be a real thing if they're letting her talk about it.
Well, and I was shocked that at this moment is when Jeff asked Tyler, like, will you be surprised if it's you? And I don't understand, like, Tyler knows it's him or Dan.
Yeah, it's not a secret.
And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be surprised if it's me. And I'm like, what? Like,
he feels secure. Of course, well, I mean, at Tribal, you never want to say, I wouldn't be surprised if it was me, because then everybody's like weak, and it's a sign of weakness. If you're on Survivor, no, I don't expect to go home tonight. I have a solid alliance, And even if you're shown up, you still gotta appear strong through it all,
I agree with that.
So you think he was making that up? That inside?
You agree
yeah,
with that?
yeah, I think so. I think he just didn't want to be like, I know these people aren't trustworthy anymore.
So, dude, would you say you don't disagree? I'm sorry. I drew that up earlier when I got bored, so we're good now.
So they vote. Mike plays his idol. The votes
Yay!
are Mike by Dan, Rodney, Tyler, and Will. So they all vote for Mike. And then Mike, Carolyn, and Sierra all vote for Tyler. And Tyler goes home.
See ya.
Yep.
That was good. I mean, that's a threat that they
Best
needed to get rid of.
All game.
Yep.
I think it was the best move all game, and like I said, if Carolyn can now get to the end, I think that's her jury, like her discussion right there. It's like, why should you win this game? Tyler is sitting there.
Yeah.
He's the only other person worthy of winning this game. So.
And she does a lot of stuff in the next episode, which we could talk about right now.
We can.
We had two
right
behind.
I just need to switch documents. Here we go. I'm
So,
ready now.
We're back to camp right after the tribal, and Dan says to the camera, everyone want Mike gone because he's selfish, self-centered, arrogant, and condescending.
Which he doesn't seem like any of those things, to be
No,
honest.
not really. He
Editing.
must have done a good job of hiding that to us, and they're not. They're editing it out for him.
Mm-hmm.
Carolyn says to the camera that she doesn't trust Dan, and she's also worried about Dan's advantage. And Carolyn says to Mike that Dan has to go, and she tells Mike what his advantage is. So it really seems like Carolyn and Mike are forming a pretty good, strong friendship here.
Which is excellent for Carolyn, because now she's playing both sides, and I don't think there's a ton of like mystery about there's not like a bunch of like complaint about it. Like Rodney is not super upset, but anyways, the big thing is there was a big, not even a big thing, a tiny little boring thing about Mike and Dan having a go at, like when they come back, they're trying to light the fire, and Mike's like, "You need any help with the fire? I can give you a hand." And Dan's like, "No, I have this." And Mike's like, "All right, well, just let me know if you need any help. I'll be around." And he's just walking around, and all of a sudden Dan lights it, and he goes, "Ha! I win!"
I know. It's guy. He
that.
showed Mike
goes,
up
"Ha! I win!"
because Mike was such an arrogant asshole to
Yeah,
him. You know.
I know. He's just helping out, man. He's just, "Do you need any help?" "No, I have this."
Which is really funny because remember, like episode 2 or whatever, when Mike was like, "Nobody's getting firewood," bro. Like, and he was stomping around the beach, and now he's just like, whatever.
I really like the person that Mike has become throughout Survivor.
I agree.
Honestly, I didn't really like him that much early on, but now I just wanted to win the whole thing.
Remember when he threw a challenge to save somebody?
Oh, I forgot that he did that.
Yes.
Was that him?
It was like, yeah, it was one of those things where like, excuse you, that's not how you play Survivor. But now here he is, and Carolyn recognized that, so she's like, we got to get rid of Dan. Unless Mike doesn't win immunity, then he should probably, you know.
Well, Mike needs to get the first second Mike doesn't win immunity, man. He's got to be gone.
He's powerful.
He's
powerful.
got to be gone.
Yeah. So we go straight to the reward challenge, and again, it's a team challenge. 2 teams of 3, at least they're even teams this time, or no one's sitting out. It's an obstacle course. You untie knots to get through a doorway. You use a hatchet to chop rope to get a puzzle pieces. You solve a word puzzle, not a world puzzle. You solve the world problem.
It might as well have been the world puzzle.
Honestly,
It's a hard one.
And the reward is a helicopter ride and surf and turf. Rodney talks about how he's seeing stars. He wakes up nauseous.
I didn't get it on my birthday, but now I really need it. And Mike's just like, just win.
Yeah, I love that. You know how you get to know the reward? You win it. Oh, man, and Jeff calls him out to it. He's like, so is this entitlement that you think people should just give it to you? He's like, there was only one I cared about, and that was on my birthday. But then he still wants you to give him this one, still. Right. So the teams are, the blue team is Dan, Sierra, and Rodney. The red team is Mike, Will, and Carolyn. And this is a really, really long challenge.
Did they say how
the challenge, like, up until the puzzle, doesn't even really matter, let's be honest.
Did they say how they did this one? Schoolyard pick? I don't remember.
They didn't. Or if they did, I didn't write it down. So, don't know. So Blue's a little ahead after the obstacles and in lead at the doorway. Dan quickly gets through the rope for the puzzle, and Mike's right behind them. Ronnie gets ahead and starts taking pieces to the stand early on. The blue team turns the letters upside down as they go, and red stands up their letters facing for the team, so that basically the teams can't see each other.
It's an ingenious strategy, like the flipping of the letters and like turning them. Like it was one of those things. It was like, man, this is Survivor contestants actually using their brain for once.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why the challenge lasted as long as it did too, because normally they're playing off of each other's. And
I don't think anybody was anywhere close to anything though the entire time.
Actually, Sierra said pretty much the answer. She said fixin'.
Yeah, she did say
worked
that.
it out. Everyone was like, "No, that's stupid. Shut up."
And no, it was Dan specifically. He was like, "No, that won't work."
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
Jeff is pretty good this one. You know, he's constantly egging them on as they slow down.
Dude, Probst is giving out hints left and right. They're probably behind schedule for the helicopter ride. They're probably like, we gotta go. In like
That's what I said
minutes.
exactly too. I said, I guarantee you they had that helicopter scheduled for a certain time, because normally they just let it go. You know, sun goes down and shit. But no, I thought the same thing. They had already paid for this helicopter time, and they got shit to do.
And so Probst is like, man, it sure would be nice if you guys could win a reward, perhaps with some fixins, all of them even.
I do like the fact that they were sitting there and they're like, is he giving us hints right now? And they're like, no, he's not giving us hints. Like, that's what they said at first. And I think it was Carolyn. She was like, he's giving us hints. Like, I'm pretty sure he is.
It was someone on Rodney's team, because Rodney. So it had to been Sierra.
Okay.
Rodney's like, nah, stupid.
Yeah. Now,
Sierra said to Rodney, I think he's giving us hints. Right? Like, shut up. I'm trying to think.
It was at this point I started realizing to myself, man, this is a Probst quote that he likes to say all the time. If Shireen or Max were here, this would be done in 5 seconds flat. Like, they'd be like, a reward with all the fixins. He says it every challenge. Are you kidding me, people? But no, we don't have the Shireen and Max, the super fans here, so they take like 45 minutes or something.
Actually, I remembered that wrong. Let me correct myself. It was Rodney that said, "Is he giving us a clue?" And Sierra that said, "Shut up, I'm not even listening."
Oh, really, man? Oh, and then Carolyn did say he's giving us a hint. So
yeah,
okay.
and she worked it out. Right. She's on the other team. But it was also an hour-long challenge. So it was the longest word puzzle in Survivor history, apparently.
Well, I would hope so. Good God, like.
Yeah. So Carolyn finally works it out after Jeff basically spelled it out for them, and they win. Jeff asks Carolyn why she's looking at the other team, and she says she's trying hard to decide whether or not to give it to Rodney. I don't know why she even had this moment. Like,
why is this a big deal? Why are we still talking about this? This was last episode. Come on, we've moved on. This episode.
Now it's fun to make Rodney stay on the beach, like.
Well, yeah, but she almost put a target on her head with Rodney by being like, nah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good joke that Rodney gets to go on reward now. I think it'd be amazing if he got to the final 3 without going on a single reward. Would that be like some sort of achievement? I don't know if anybody else has done that.
I mean, we had somebody who won the game who went to every single tribal council.
That is true.
That was a feat. I don't know if anybody's ever not gone to a single reward.
And then got to the final.
We got to the final.
Yeah. She says that she would keep it after Jeff mentions that would it be better to make Rodney an ally or may make him stronger and reawaken her competition. So then she says she's going to go. I don't know if what Jeff said really changed her mind or not, but it was a good point either way.
Right.
Keep him weak. Keep him seeing stars.
So at the reward, they went on a helicopter ride and they just had a picnic or something?
They had some surf and turf. So stay.
Oh, okay. And so there wasn't a clue hidden at this point. I think that they're not going to introduce any more idols unless Carolyn's gets played even. I don't think they're going to. That's
weird. I thought after Mike played his, they should bring another one back.
I thought that they were going to as well, because I thought that was going to be kind of Mike's saving grace for the rest of the game, was be a goal to go find the idol. And so I was really hoping he was going to get a clue at this. And
I'm happy they didn't, though. I think that right now, no more idols is going to produce the best entertaining end game, and not feel like a cop out.
You can only use idols for like one more tribal anyway, though. I think it'd be cool if all these idols were in play at this last tribal, because they usually can use them.
But that's going to end up with
to
somebody
Final
that doesn't
Four.
deserve getting screwed.
Well, but that's Survivor.
I agree. See, I think it's Survivor. I think it gives the contestants who are on the bottom something to go for.
Right.
Some glimmer of hope.
I mean, I look at Mike. I mean, not to spoil how this all ends and everything, but you almost feel like Mike's in a hopeless situation where he didn't really do anything wrong. He's been great at Survivor, but if he doesn't win every single immunity, it's like, you're just screwed because everyone wants you out type of thing.
Yep.
So I like the hidden immunity idols for that aspect. It's like a saving grace, even when all hope is lost type of thing.
So at this reward, there was one line that I didn't care about them eating. I was so uncaring about it. But Mike says one thing that makes me really like him, and I'm like, this is a good guy. He says, "Do not let Rodney beat me at this game."
Yeah, yeah.
And I agree with him. It's like at this point, I think that Rodney may have done work, and he may have alliances, and he may have played the game, but I don't think he deserves it after his. After just whining and not like he feels too entitled to win. Oh man, imagine if the day 39 was his birthday instead. Jury members, you need to write down my name. It's my birthday.
I can't imagine how he's still in the game. Like,
I know, right?
That baffles me.
How is Dan still in the game?
That also baffles me.
How does this man get past merge?
How is Will still in the game just because he's useless? Like, I don't know. This
and
whole
who even is Sierra? I don't.
Yeah, there you go. Well, back at Boohoo Rodney camp, Rodney is letting everyone know that surf and turf is his favorite meal, and that Carolyn's going on rewards.
Is steak and lobster.
Is every other day, and she went back on her word, and revenge will be very sweet.
Oh yeah, Rodney swears revenge on Carolyn. She took my birthday, and then she took my surf and turf. She will die.
Food is my favorite meal, guys. Just so you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I enjoy nourishment.
Rodney, you're not yourself when you've lost reward. Here, have a fruit.
That was a bit insane to me. I know you guys keep talking about how Dan could be a possible plant by the production, and the man walks out into the woods that everyone searches daily for food and firewood and all these things, and the man comes back with watermelon. Where the hell is watermelon been this whole game?
They just came into bloom overnight. They're a nighttime flower.
And are those the only ones? The two that he brought back? The only ones that exist on the entire island. There's two watermelon. Just happened to be.
It was just so weird to me that these two...
And it was a well-traveled path, too. Like, you could tell it was well-traveled.
Yeah, that definitely made me think more that, okay, Dan has got to be just there, like, by the producers.
I think
that ruins the show for me if that's the case.
It would ruin the show for me as well, but half the shit ruins the show for me. Yeah, how do you watermelon on day like 34? You're on day 34 and you find watermelon for the first time. That's right there.
Okay, I got a theory. The cameramen were so tired of Rodney that they put in some watermelon. It's like, here, we're going to give him a fake reward so he shuts up. And guess what? It works. Rodney's pleased.
They should have just put a hidden immunity idol in a watermelon and just been like, nobody will ever find this guy.
No shit, right? The perfect hiding spot. It took them this many days to find the watermelon.
Have they fished at all?
No, not that they've shown. They gave them fishing equipment and they haven't used it that they've shown. That's bugged me too, yeah. Let's see.
Mike has one big thing before we go to immunity. Like the guys came back from reward and they had one thing that was important. Mike goes up to Sierra and says, Dan is not going to be able to beat you or Carolyn.
Yeah, he's right too.
Yeah, that's what he says, which is a remarkable thing. Dan cannot beat Sierra or Carolyn, and that is a big moment where things start like that. Just like it's a seed planted in her head where it's going to kind of change how she's thinking about people.
Yeah, and then Sierra says to the camera that if Mike doesn't win immunity, he's out. So he's like, Mike's like, listen, and then she's like, yeah, fuck that guy.
Exactly.
So then we go to the immunity challenge, which is grappling hooks to retrieve 3 bags. The bag holds balls. In one bag, use one of the balls to solve suspended table maze. Dan gets his first bag, followed by Will, Mike, Sierra, Carolyn, and Rodney. On bag number 2 is Mike, Sierra, and Dan. Mike's the first to get bag number 3. So he runs up and he starts the maze. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's the common Survivor. You got 2 ropes, you got a maze, like we used to play when we were kids, and you move it around. You don't want your ball to fall through the hole.
Labyrinth.
Yeah, so Mike's got a pretty big advantage here. He's first up there, and he's there before Carolyn even gets her second bag. Let's see here, Dan's second. I don't know if we really need to read all of this, but Dan is the second to get all 3 bags. Will gets his second bag, but Dan and Mike are in the same spot. Dan seems focused and determined. Mike drops his ball twice. So let's stop right here. Who did you guys think had this?
I actually thought Dan actually had a chance of this because For some reason, he seems to be able to like perform well individually.
I thought Dan was going to pull out the come from behind victory. I really was hoping Mike was going to win, though.
Yeah, I was pulling for Mike hard, but the way Dan approached this challenge, once he got up there and Mike had already had the early advantage there, it seemed like Dan was just going to blow through this and leave Mike behind.
Yeah.
And then next comes up Sierra to the table,
And
mate.
Sierra started dominating that thing, too.
Yeah, my wife ends up because she pauses the show a lot because she's typing and keeping notes, and she paused this at the exact wrong time. So this moved just ahead really quickly. Dan drops the ball again. He's stuck in the life, but meanwhile, Will's been dropping it several times. Will finally stops dropping. I'm sorry, no, Will's finally the maze. Mike finally stops dropping the ball, and then at that moment, Sierra catches up. Mike is in the inner circle of the damn thing, but he can't get the ball to go in the hole. And Sierra's ball's coming around the corner, about to go into the hole. Mike pauses it. And my heart was going, I was like, whoa, hold on. You can pause it in like 30 more seconds, but we have to see who wins.
I thought you were going to say something like she paused it at a spot where, like, because you know how they show these things, and it's not necessarily real time the way that they're cutting it in and out.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say they paused it, so you already knew that, like, she drops or something like that.
No, it looked like Sierra was going to come from behind and win it. Because Mike's sitting there, ball's going in, ball's going out, ball's going in.
Dude, this challenge was very, very well edited, including my favorite line, by the way. At this point, we've forgotten about Dan because we thought he was going to win. But he says, "I suck at life," and so he's done. So
that's whenever he like dropped like the. It seemed like the more he messed up, the worse he got.
Well, because he started to panic.
Focus, yeah.
He started to panic because then knew he was behind, so he kept trying to do it super fast, and he just kept like trying to. I mean, I would have honestly, if I was behind, and I don't know how this table's set up to know if you can do it, because I used to do it when I played Labyrinth. You played Labyrinth before, I'm sure. Tilt it down one way really far, and then fling!
That's because it was open at the top. I said that. I said, get it all the way on the other end, and just pull the thing and flop it into the center.
And if you pull off that lucky shot, come from behind at the end and win like that,
you deserve it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So Mike finally gets the damn ball in the hole.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah. At this point, I'm pulling for Mike to win the whole game. Like, I just want Mike to win the whole thing, even though
I don't want him. He's too much of a hero. Carolyn is my true hope right at this point.
I think she will win it all, but I
think if it's Mike and her at the end, I think they'll vote for Carolyn. They will not vote for Mike.
I don't know. I think that there's enough Mike love over there that they'll probably...
I want that to be the final just to see it play out.
I know.
It would be entertaining.
Mike, Carolyn, and who cares? Will, sure. Who even is Sierra? Put her in. I don't care.
put her in. Rodney, let's not make him go on a reward. He's got to sit in the corner in a box during the final. Like he's got to stay on the beach until they read the votes. Like
Rodney being on the jury just to read the votes would be amazing, or to talk to them. He'd be amazing. Like the questions he would ask. Oh.
Why didn't you take me on my birthday? Come on, why didn't you take me?
Oh, wait a minute. Imagine Will, final three, and Shireen's on the jury. Imagine that talk.
Oh,
God. Can we go there? Can we make this a reality? Well, we'll find out after some camp drama.
Yeah. So we're back at the camp, and Dan says to the camera, he's very upset that Mike won, but Carolyn, he said, should be the next to go. And Dan says to Rodney, Sierra, and Will that it's Carolyn, and they all agree that it's going to be Carolyn.
Which is very smart. Like, Dan saying that, like, Dan is a smart person in this instance. Like, he's saying Carolyn's next to go, which is smart because she's a big player. So I'm glad that he recognized that fact, at least.
Yeah. Sierra thinks that Dan's a threat because he has the advantage. I don't understand why they think that his advantage is so... They know what his advantage is. It's not that big of a deal.
Well, because now if it gets down to a point, like the last one is when it wasn't a concern because of the fact that the way they had to split the votes. But in this time, I think Dan's advantage could have swung everything into chaos because they can think that they're 3v4 or wait, how many are left in the game? 6 total. So even if they're 3v3, Dan's advantage wins it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it is a big thing. I just don't think it's as big as like a hidden immunity auto.
Right. The big thing is that Mike wants to screw up these plans of Carolyn. He wants to vote Dan, and so he goes on this parade around camp trying to get people. So my favorite moment of this episode, Sierra and Carolyn are talking. All of a sudden, Mike comes out from my street, and he's like, let me talk to you for this one moment. And Sierra like jumps out of her skin. Sierra showed the most emotion of this entire game right in that moment.
Which highly more explains that he can come up to her and start talking to her and scare the crap out of her. That episode a couple ago when we were like, how did they not know he was standing right there listening to everything that they said?
Why, because it's a ninja. It's
yeah, he's a ninja.
To me, this was a Kanye moment. He basically walked up and it was like, I'm going to let you finish. I'm going to let y'all finish. But first, you look at these two guys over here sleeping in this shelter. They're the ones going to see y'all.
It's the biggest threat of all time.
1 million %. 1 million %.
And then it's just too great that his name is Mike because he dropped the mic and walked away. It's like Mike walked up, dropped the knowledge, and walked off. Like
he's out.
It was. I agree. It was the most amazing Survivor moment.
Can you imagine how he just turned around and been like, Mike out?
Yeah, yeah. It was that.
And then it's slow motions in on him. It just says "Thug Life" to some thug music.
So that was about it on the camp before we go to tribal. The jury again: Haley, Joe, Jen, Sharon, and last out Tyler. And we start with Mike.
Looking suave. Can I mention he was just like. He looked very taking it all in. He's been
at the party, man. He's been having a blast.
He's actually still drunk. He's just trying to hold composure.
Dude, I think he's a guy who works really well on the jury because when he's over there, just looking, I bet the Survivor cameraman, I'm like, this is amazing. This is like getting a Survivor person on the jury just who goes. The entire tribal, it's footage gold. That's all you need.
So Mike's the first to talk, and he says they still have a common enemy, but one of them is going home because, again, he's wearing the idol.
Then Rodney just loses his mind.
He's really fatigued. He's so tired he can't figure out what trust is.
I can't even tell if it was him trying to play a part or if this was legit.
Yeah. I honestly think he is really like completely legitimate. He's the real guy to ever play Survivor, so I believe him. He's I think he's done.
I don't know. I think he's playing a bit to try to get somebody to actually give him reward.
Oh yeah, I think he wants to. He's doing it. He's definitely putting on a show to get some reward. But I think that he is legitimately tired too. Just maybe not as much as we're seeing.
Yeah. Carolyn mentions everyone's trying to save themselves. And Dan mentions he doesn't know what to do. He's afraid to act, to make the wrong choice. They talk about the hidden immunity idol and how hard it is to know when to use it. They don't want to use it now or you don't use it now or not need to use it or get voted out within your pocket. Because, again, people are thinking that Dan might... I mean, they're all talking like they don't all know what Dan's thing is, even though everyone knows what Dan's special thing is.
Which is ironic that Dan doesn't realize that everybody knows what his thing is.
Right.
And the funny thing is Dan says that he doesn't know what the right thing to do is. And I think that's a big, it's like a banner for his entire game. I don't know what the right thing to do is. So instead, I'm just going to screw everything up with everything I say and do. He sucks at life, apparently, remember.
So they all vote or whatever, and Jeff says he's going to count the votes, and that's when Dan chooses to play his advantage. And this was interesting to me. I'm glad we got to actually see it in the game and not get voted out or anything, because you got to see that he got to go back up there a second time and just write down another vote. So it wasn't necessarily...
It was a gold trim, too. Did you see that?
Oh, was it? A special?
Yeah, it was beautiful. So you knew what the extra vote was, too. So
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it had a gold trim. I thought I was like, it's the golden ticket. Man,
how interesting would it have been if he voted for a different person?
Well, that's what I thought. I mean, I didn't think that was even an option.
I didn't either.
It's clear that was he could do that, and which would be weird. Why would you do that? But you could. So Jeff goes and actually gets the votes. He asks about the immunity idol, and that's when Carolyn plays her immunity idol, which
I'm taking a chance.
Dude, glad she did that.
The look on Dan's face, because he had no clue she even had one, so it was the surefire done deal.
No one in the game knew she had one. The only person that ever knew was Tyler, and he was on the jury now. So no one in the game even considered, which is just one of the best. I think this is the only time that I can remember that no one in the game knew someone had to hit immunity idol when they play it.
We need somebody to make a GIF or a GIF or whatever the hell you want to call it of just Dan's
so not having it.
It's the second episode in a row where Carolyn does a move that makes her look like she can win this game. First, she votes out like the second strongest player in the game other than herself. Then she plays an idol at the perfect time to negate like a bajillion votes.
Yeah. I love whenever Jeffrey's the first vote and it's Carolyn and Mike's just...
Yep. The slow clap.
So the vote ends up being for Carolyn by Dan, Will, Rodney, and Sierra. None of those count. And then Mike and Carolyn both vote for Dan. And so Mike and Carolyn are grinning their faces off as Dan gets up to leave.
So it was technically 5 votes Carolyn, right? Because Dan, Will, Rodney, Sierra?
Oh, right. Yes, you're right. You're right. There was 5 votes.
So
right.
there was... His advantage was absolutely useless.
Yeah. It was perfectly useless.
Because no matter what, they still are up on votes without it. Even if Sierra decided to vote like a random, like throw a will vote out there or something like.
Yeah. It would not have mattered either way, basically. I love how at the end, Dan, when he's talking to the camera, he says, "I only had 3 things to do here, and at least I made the first 2. 1 being have fun, 2 being be remembered, and 3 to win the game. But at least I got 2 of them." So I think he thinks he had fun. Well, he would know better than we would. But I don't know that he is be remembered. I don't know if it's going to work out for him.
Remember, Dan, he will always, he says he wants to be remembered, and I will remember him always a fool. As a fool.
I think MC will always remember him and just not disagree with what he says.
I don't disagree.
There you go.
Dan, I will remember this for my entire life, so you've won, Dan. You won your second of 3.
They show the scenes from next time, which will be this Wednesday. It's a 2-hour season.
Finale.
Now, they didn't mention the live stream. Normally they do that on Sunday. They do the finale on Sundays, and they show that they do the live stream. I'm assuming there's still a live stream on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. It's all part of it.
Okay.
And do we have any idea, Final 3 or Final 2? They
don't know.
They seem to think it's a Final 3 based on the way they're talking in the game, but
they always assume
it's going to be a Final 3.
They've switched it back and forth so many times in the last couple seasons.
Yeah. One other thing that I want to point out is we saw our scenes from next time, and Rodney is very mad at Carolyn and asking, "Why you didn't tell us you had an idol?" And she's like, "You all voted."
that was pretty funny.
And the other big thing inside this teaser, like they showed like very little, was we heard the words $1 million mistake, which means that there could be a big mistake inside the next episode.
And Mike says that too, right? He says that he made $1 million mistake.
No, he mentions that it's going to be $1 million mistake. So
yeah,
it could be Mike. He could be talking about somebody else. He could be saying that Carolyn's going to make $1 million mistake. He could be saying Rodney's going to make... Mike better beat Rodney at this game.
But there's only 5 of them left and 1 more episode.
I'm excited.
Well, yep.
It's going to be good. I think
how are we doing the recap for the finale?
Let's do it live right after. Let's not,
what day is it?
It's Wednesday.
Okay, so it is a Wednesday still.
Yeah, it's like 2 days.
I'll be at the fire station, so can't do it live, unfortunately. Live from the fire station, the Survivor recap. I'm out on an engine, like with a laptop. So, guys, I don't know.
Like fire burning in the background. People are jumping out of the building, and you're just like, "Yeah, I can't believe that Mike
made $1 million mistake."
So when can you? I mean, we don't have to. I just thought maybe we could tell them what our plan was and when they could expect the recap. But
yeah, because we don't need to wait until Wednesday.
Right.
So it might come out early, but I couldn't tell you.
Do we do something on Saturday? Is there any possibility of Saturdays?
I don't know. We'll work it out, and we'll have the recap as soon as possible.
And
based on our schedules.
I think what we should do after the show too, after it's all said and done, is we're gonna auction off MC's beautiful Dan quotes.
And it has all my notes on it too, including my stars of happiness when Carolyn did a good vote.
An auction piece for the record books.
Oh, man, it's just like they do. Have you guys ever considered buying any of that stuff?
I did, and then I saw the prices.
Oh, is it
I did, and then I felt gypped because they didn't have all the buff filled in.
I was about to say, I almost bought a buff thing last season. We were talking about it just to see it in person, but
We got to get them all to be wearing them during the podcast.
No, I've definitely never thought about it. Now this would be the only thing I could think I would feel like comfortable actually being like, look, it's Survivor gear doing the podcast. Otherwise, like out in public, people would be like, what a freaking dork.
Yeah.
You're out there wearing your Survivor buff as a bikini top walking around.
If I had a Survivor
And no pants. No pants. You got to go full Shireen strap.
If I had a Survivor buff, I would wear it during this podcast just as my outfit, like the girls do. Just like, hairy chest sticking out the top. Like, it'd be beautiful. Glorious.
On that note.
On that note, stay tuned for the finale next week. Sometime soon.
This week. It's in like 2 days, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for us doing the finale.
Right.
Like, whenever we put it out, you'll see it. All right, guys.
Bye.
See ya.